Welcome back to This Day in Irish History. I'm your host, Raymond Welsh. Today we turn our attention to a tragic and shocking event that unfolded on February 4th, 1992, one that sent shockwaves through Northern Ireland during some of the darkest years of the Troubles. On this day, an off-duty officer of the Royal Ulster Constabulary, RUC, Allan Moore, walked into a Sinn Féin office on Falls Road in Belfast and opened fire, killing 3 people before turning the gun on himself. The attack was swift, brutal, and left a community reeling. The victims were Patrick Loughran, a 61-year-old Sinn Féin election worker, Máire Drumm Jr., daughter of the assassinated Republican activist Máire Drumm, and Pat McBride, a Sinn Féin member and election worker. They were engaged in the daily activities of the office when Moore entered and carried out his deadly attack. The gunman, Allan Moore, was a serving member of the RUC, the police force in Northern Ireland at the time. He used his police-issued firearm in the attack, raising immediate questions about security, loyalty within the force, and the ongoing tensions between the nationalist and unionist communities. The RUC was already viewed with deep suspicion by Republicans, and this attack only reinforced the fears that elements within the force harboured extremist views. Moore fled the scene, but was later found dead in a car in North Belfast, having died by suicide. His motives remain a subject of speculation. Some suggested personal or psychological distress, while others saw it as an act of sectarian violence fueled by the intense pressures of the time. The attack came at a particularly volatile period during the Troubles. The early 1990s were marked by tit-for-tat killings, as loyalist and Republican paramilitaries engaged in a brutal cycle of violence. However, an attack of this nature, carried out by a serving police officer, added another layer of complexity to the conflict. It highlighted concerns about collusion between security forces and loyalist paramilitaries, a subject that would remain contentious for years to come. The killings deepened nationalist distrust of the RUC and intensified calls for police reform. Sinn Féin and other nationalist parties pointed to the attack as evidence that the RUC could not be reformed from within and needed to be entirely replaced. Years later, as part of the peace process, the RUC was disbanded and replaced by the Police Service of Northern Ireland, PSNI, in an effort to create a more representative and trusted policing body. In the aftermath of the shooting, tributes poured in for the victims, and the attack was condemned across the political spectrum. The loss of life was another grim reminder of the human cost of the Troubles, a conflict that claimed the lives of more than 3,500 people over 3 decades. As we reflect on the events of February 4th, 1992, we remember those who lost their lives and the broader impact of such violence on Northern Ireland's history. The tragedy on Falls Road was not just a moment of horror, but a turning point that fueled discussions about policing, accountability, and the future of the peace process. Thank you for joining us on This Day in Irish History. Please like, subscribe, and tune in tomorrow for another journey through Ireland's past. I'm Raymond Welsh. Slán go fóill.